when you...
Well, I don't think that the educationalese should be the proprietary knowledge of teachers and educators. I think that we should let them in on the secret. And to be metacognitive is to reflect on your own thinking in part, right? So what a better way to do it than actually give them some tools to do it with.
If those are like set in stone, like perfect guidelines, I think it would be good. But sometimes when the judge just gets to decide what the sentencing is based off of his own like feelings, I don't know. It seems kind of random who gets the death penalty and who gets life in prison.
I guess the main issue was that people were talking about whether things should be censored, because it should be up to people's opinion if they want to listen to it or not, or if they want to watch it. Like, a main issue I found with video games.
But one thing that I had done with this class, and keep going back to, is I explained to them we're doing some things that are more on a factual and understanding level, and other things where are more analytical and evaluative and such, and so we keep going back and forth. The scored discussion fits into that because you get more points for drawing inferences or introducing a new idea than you would for just simply stating an opinion.
Yeah, well, Mr. Mix said like the two main things in the course are like the content and then what you do with the content. Like I don't know the word for it, but like interpreting the content and all. And I guess that's the main point of the scored discussion. It makes you really like think about what the content is saying, and you read between the lines. You try and figure out what it's saying, make your own opinions on everything, and you get to, I don't know, the discussion, you just got to really discuss everything, and it was 20 minutes long, so you got to get all your views out there. I liked how he did that a lot, so.
I mean, it's the exact same thing. If someone kills someone, and then you kill them, it's the same thing. It's almost like a debate, almost like everyone gets to put in their own ideas. So if someone disagrees with someone, we get to, counteract and tell them why we do agree with it. So I guess it's like we kind of fight back and forth, but it's kind of good and healthy so that it gets stuck in our minds.
If you have a scored discussion, you get, 7 or 8 different points of view, and it makes you think more about, your viewpoint, and you can form your own viewpoint better.
They're realizing they have different kinds of thinking. And a lot of times I'll ask them, so what kind of a question is that? Is it analytical or evaluative? And they start to recognize. And sometimes our more interesting discussions are when they say, well, I think it's evaluative because, or I think it's analytical because. And of course, an evaluative question is going to involve analysis in almost every case. And they certainly should involve some knowledge and understanding, or else they're pretty woefully inadequate.
It makes me think about how if I'm learning this, what else could I be learning, or something like that. What's the next step into what I'm learning? Is it something, even more advanced in what I'm learning?
There are also issues about people of, different races, getting death penalty more than they probably should, just because they're, black or whatever. And, if there were more set in stone, rules, I think that would help prevent that. I mean, maybe there was more, with discussions, more laid back, I think. You're not, arguing, arguing with people, which I prefer. And, you don't have to defend yourself, really. It's just talking about it. So, I like that better.
Yeah, like I said, the average case in Maryland is $3 million. By the end of it, we decided that there should be guidelines to what I was doing was the death penalty. That there should be guidelines for that instead of just saying, oh no, there should either be guidelines or we should just not have it. It just let us get to a higher understanding of everything.
things that I thought was really interesting is when you were presenting the statistics about the states that had the highest. Now, were you saying murders or murder rate?
Murder rate.
Yeah. Is that a question or a statement?
A statement, but I don't know.
But not a great deal of confidence.
You can sort of like a music shop or something. You can actually listen to music. And it doesn't matter whether or not you're of age or not. You can pick up the CD and just listen to it. Just being able to speak almost like, I don't want to say slick or like to get away with stuff, or like just to have a mindset that I know what I'm talking about with the Constitution and stuff. So if someone tried to arrest me, I would know what I was talking about. Like, no, you can't search me. No, you can't do that because I have rights.
The defense attorney's going to argue just the way you did, and the prosecutor will argue just the way Dylan did.
Because the police had.
And like, and sometimes you have to debate like your viewpoints, and it'll cause you to like change them sometimes, or other times like, I don't know, if you're trying to like defend your point, you have to like you have to use all your evidence, and I don't know, it's just a way for you to learn it better, and it makes you like work harder to like be able to defend it.
Mainly just like interpreting. I mean, because it was all about the amendment. This is like cruel and unusual punishment, which is pretty broad. So you have to really be able to interpret everything that you saw, and then not only interpret it, but use what you interpreted to back up your statements and all.
We assess it in the score discussion. That rubric, which I sent to you, is pretty clear. Although one of the hard jobs, I don't know when you were watching the score discussion, it's quite an exercise for the teacher. Because I'm with the score sheet, and somebody says something, and I'm thinking, what kind of a comment was that? Not what kind of a comment was that, but where does it fit on this rubric? A lot of it is done informally, like in the processing of the Supreme Court decisions, as an example. I'm asking a ton of questions, but most students, most of the time, like it. And most students, most of the time, they'll, if it's going well, they don't even feel like they're working. They're actually doing way more work than what they might realize that they're doing because it's interesting.